Okay, welcome to this ProtaStructure class. Today we'll be looking at how to insert a Raft foundation on this model. We have two types of Raft foundation, the beam Raft foundation and also the slab Raft foundation. So here we'll be using the beam Raft foundation. So to insert the foundation, all you need to do is to go straight to okay, let's go to our 3D to our plan. There's a 3D plan, so go to plan and then we go to story 00, go to concrete member, and then you go to concrete beam, and then you from this dialog box you now enter your values. Okay, the 225, and then the depth of beam will be let's use 1300. Okay, then you update and then you now begin to insert our beams the way they should. Okay, also one very important thing that needs to be done before you make a choice of the kind of foundation you would like to use is to do a soil test. A geotechnical engineer needs to take soil samples to the lab, and whatever result he gets, if he discovers that the soil bearing capacity is very low or very poor, the structural engineer is now left with an option of picking a foundation that will be able to carry the structure. It is required that the soil on its own is able to resist that load. The load applied should not be more than the resisting force that will be coming from the soil. So you can go back to the story 1 to check the way the beam formations are, and then you do exactly the same thing for the Raft foundation. The next thing to do is to insert our slab. When you go to concrete member, click on slab, and our slab thickness will be using a thickness of 220. Then for our concrete cover, we'll be using 50. Then when you go to loads, you enter the required parameters for imposed and the dead load. Then there's what we have like relative, the relative level. At that point, we'll need to insert a value there. You know, from the beam that we're using a beam of 1300 mm. That's 1.3 meters. So it's important that we enter a value for a relative value. If not, the slab will be at the bottom, just like a normal slab. The slab is supposed to be at the top, just at the top of the beam. So in order to be able to achieve that, we will need to subtract the thickness of our slab from the beam height, and when we do that, we'll have 1080 thereabout. So you enter it there, and then you'll be able to get the beam, the slab to start at the top of the beam. After that, we insert all our slabs. Next, we go back to our 3D view to be able to check what we've done so far. So if you do that, go to 3D view and wait for it to come up. Now you can see that our Raft foundation has been properly modeled. You can see that the slab is just at the top of the beam. So for our Raft foundation, once the beams have already been put in place and after the casting, you will need to fill up with sharp sand and then compact before you now put your reinforcement, and then the slab now follows. The casting of the slab now follows. So all of these together makes up the raft foundation. The next thing we'll be doing here is to add a toe. We'll be putting a toe around our raft beam raft foundation, and a toe is not mandatory for all raft beams, but for a raft beam that is above 1000 millimeter deep, it's often recommended at the edges in order to improve safety against edge punching and also to provide extra lever arm for overturning and reduce contact pressure. To do that, we'll go to concrete member and then we'll select slab again, but this time around we'll be okay. Let's enter under general, enter your slab thickness. Concrete cover will use 50. When you click on loads, you'll see that we have we'll still use dead load 1.5. Let's see, enter the values that we've been using before, and then the relative level should still be the same, 0. Don't increase it. Then going back to general, we need to change the type of slab. You see that here it's 1. We're now going to use slab 12. Click on 12 because that's the only one that will work for our toe, because we're trying to do a toe. Then you're gonna go to where you see L cant. At that L cant, we are going to enter a value of 850. For this project we'll be using 850, but it should not be lower than 500, so 850 for our toe. Once you're done with this, then you click on update. Once you click on update, then you begin to insert. Inserting our toe. The next is to go to the 3D view, and then you can now see that we have finished the modeling with the toe. Our beam raft is complete right now. So the next stage is to do analysis of the foundation. So we are done with this and it's good to go. So that's it for modeling a beam raft foundation.